We are taught that Rome fell in 476 AD, when a Germanic chieftain named Odoacer stripped the boy emperor Romulus Augustulus of his crown. But if you had walked into the streets of Constantinople 50 years later and told the citizens their empire had fallen, they would have laughed at you. They didn't call themselves Byzantines, they called themselves Romaioi. History books often treat 476 AD as the death of Rome, but that's only half the story. The Roman Empire lived on for another millennium in the East as the Byzantine Empire, preserving Roman law, Greek culture, and Christian faith until the walls of Constantinople finally fell in 1453. The collapse of the Western Roman Empire wasn't a sudden explosion, it was a slow-motion car crash. Decades of hyperinflation, civil war, and tribal migrations had left the city of Rome vulnerable. When the West finally fell, it wasn't the end of an era. It was simply a corporate restructuring. The administrative heart of the empire had already moved. Back in 330 AD, Constantine the Great did something radical. He moved the capital to Byzantium, renaming it Constantinople. This wasn't just a change of scenery, it was a masterstroke of strategy. The triple threat: the city was located on the Bosporus Strait, the literal bridge between Europe and Asia. While the West was bartering for grain, the East was swimming in gold from the Silk Road. The Theodosian walls were the most advanced fortifications in the medieval world. For 1,000 years, they were virtually impenetrable. In the 6th century, Justinian I decided he wasn't happy with just half an empire. He wanted it all back. His brilliant general, Belisarius, reclaimed North Africa, Italy, and even Rome itself. For a brief moment, the Mediterranean was a Roman lake once again. Justinian knew that an empire is built on more than just swords. He compiled the Corpus Juris Civilis. If you live in a country with a civil law system today, you are living under the shadow of Justinian's lawyers. To signal his divine right, he built the Hagia Sophia. For nearly a millennium, it was the largest cathedral on earth, a dome so massive it was said to be suspended from heaven by a golden chain. Theodora, a former circus performer turned empress. She was the spine of the empire. During the Nika riots in 532 AD, half the city was on fire, and Justinian was packing his bags to flee. Theodora stopped him. She famously said,
"Purple is a noble burial shroud."
Essentially telling her husband she'd rather die an empress than live as a refugee. They stayed, crushed the rebellion, and rebuilt the city. By the 7th century, the world changed. The rise of Islam brought a new, powerful force from the desert. The empire lost Egypt, Syria, and the Holy Land. To survive, Rome had to evolve. They moved away from the old legion system and created themes, military districts where soldiers were given land in exchange for hereditary service. They leaned into Greek fire, a mysterious liquid flame that burned even on water, to defend their coasts. They stopped being an ancient empire and became a medieval one. Every story needs a finale. By the 15th century, the empire was little more than the city of Constantinople itself. On the other side of the walls was Mehmed II, the 21-year-old Sultan of the Ottoman Empire. Mehmed brought something the Romans hadn't perfected: massive gunpowder cannons. For 53 days, the walls that had stood for 1,000 years were battered. On May 29, 1453, the last Roman emperor, Constantine XI, reportedly threw off his imperial regalia and charged into the fray, dying as a common soldier. History isn't a series of hard stops. It's a series of transitions. When Constantinople fell, its scholars fled to Italy, carrying ancient Greek texts that sparked the Renaissance. The fall of the East didn't just close a chapter, it tore the pages out and scattered them across the globe. This wasn't the end of Rome. This was Rome's final transformation.